Yes, you also enjoyed the class sessions. So today will be our fourth day in the session. Thank you for the guys that sent the videos and did some of the assignments, and I will provide some of the feedback. So thank you all for all of that. So today we'll be going into the fourth lesson, and I'll quickly run through that lesson, and after the class I will give some information about how we'll go on from here. So thank you everybody, and thanks for all of your feedback. All right, so this is Teenpreneur class 4. I'm just about to share my screen so that you have an idea what we will be talking about today. As I usually say, if you have any question, please feel free to drop them in the question and answer session, the question and answer portal, so that we can all benefit from each other. I trust you can see my screen. If you can't, let me know. Okay, so let's go on quickly. I'm sure you already know the ground rules, so I won't go over that again. What I'll just do is to give a quick synopsis of what we've done, and so that you remember, for those of you that might have forgotten. Remember, we are discussing business and entrepreneurship and how it can benefit you in starting your business and running your business, or even if you're just going to be a professional, how all of these skills, I'm sure you benefited from some of them. In the first week, we discussed business opportunities, how you can identify ideas around you. And I said everything starts from an idea, how you think is important, the information you have access to, you keep on looking for information, develop a critical and creative mindset, and be observant of what is around you, because that's where business opportunities and ideas come from. Second week, we discuss execution. So that's the discipline of how you bring your ideas into a business. And we talked about critically about feasibility studies and a business plan. Some of the things we could not go into detail. We have vision, mission, objectives, tactics, strategies, but you can search for that yourself, or as I will tell you at the end of the class, this discussion can continue after Navigate, and if you're interested, we can still discuss all of that and you can learn a lot more. Last week, we talked about the science of money. I explained that money is not the most critical asset in a business, that you are actually the most critical asset, because you're the person that brings every other thing together. You're the one that creates value. And I said that cash follows value. So think about the richest people you see on earth. Think about the richest countries. Think about the most successful companies. What made them successful ultimately are the people behind them, how they brought in all of those things together. It's not just ideas, it's not just resources in their raw form. So that is why, for example, and I'm sure a number of you are passionate about Africa, even for the guys that are not living currently in Nigeria or in Africa. And you think sometimes, why is Africa the way it is? It's not so much of the resources or the ideas, it's around how value is created and how value is distributed. So that's sharing value. I remember when I was discussing last week, I was making it to understand how value is created. So when you have an idea, I have an idea that, for example, I think airplanes should go faster. I want to leave from here to the United States and get there in 10 seconds. I'm sure you guys know of all those sci-fi movies, Time Machine. It is just an idea. Why is nobody buying that idea? Because a million people on earth are having that idea.
But what makes it start getting money is when you start transforming it from an idea into business. And that is when money will come after it. It becomes valuable. And that is the science of money. You transform idea by executing it into a structured form that can be repeated and depended upon. I'm sure you guys remembered the example I gave about Toyota and Innoson motors. A lot of us would trust Toyota motors because they are dependable. We can trust them because we've seen what they've done in the past versus Innoson that is not so known. And that is how money flows. That money follows value. And we talked about that last week. And I talked about the different sources of capital that without understanding of Innocent Motors and Toyota, you can understand why Toyota can raise capital from anywhere in the world. Nigeria, South Africa, Bangladesh, US, UK, Germany, because the brand is known and trusted. But Innocent will likely only be raised money in Nigeria and even from only certain parts in Nigeria because that's where they are known. And that is, so I was trying to make you understand that when you are trying to get capital, it's not so much the fault of the people you are talking to as much as your responsibility to try to create, demonstrate, and communicate value. And that is a very good foundation for what we are going to be discussing today. So today, we are ending with a topic, sell like a pro. I think I love all these topics because they create a very wonderful foundation that you can use to start and run any business. I'll tell you that it is not exhaustive knowledge. You keep on learning. I've kept on learning. I started learning about this from, let me not exaggerate. Okay, maybe when I was in mid-school, mid-secondary school, like GS3, when I started getting interested in business and studying business studies. And I'm still learning. I've done a bit and I keep on learning. So you keep on learning about this. And I said, I'm very available. We'll continue. There's a club I'm running, a business club that will continue this discussion. And you can keep on learning about it. But this provides a good foundation and you should keep on building on this. So I ended last week about value and the sources of capital. This week we'll discuss about selling like a pro, which is first of all selling whatever products you're offering, and secondly, also getting people to invest in your business. How do you go about these things? And that is what the discussion today is about. So I target that we should be able to end within the time allotted to us within the next 35 minutes. So I will run through them on a pretty fast note. If there are points you want me to explain, please drop the comments and the questions in the chat room. So my first question, and please, I want you guys to participate. Why is selling an important skill for an entrepreneur or for a professional or for a business person? Why is selling an important skill? Why is selling an important skill? If you like to participate, do let me know. Let me see, I think I muted all. So if you like to talk or like to give a feedback, let me know. So why do you guys think that selling is important? Why is it important? It helps you close to people. All right, it gets you closer to people. That's important. Thank you, Tamilore. Does anybody want to share? Do you have any idea? As an entrepreneur, do you need to be to learn how to sell?
Help to be closer to people, to know people more.
Okay, to be closer to people, to know people more. That's, yes, that's important because it's people that will buy your goods, it's not robots. Yes, Fikaya says because that's how you earn money as an entrepreneur.
That's how you earn money. Fikayo, do you want to explain to us? Do you want to explain if you don't mind? As I said, I would like to learn from you guys as well. I like learning. I told you I started learning from secondary school and I've kept on learning. I like to learn. So anybody has a perspective, or has anybody sold something before? If you have an experience selling, do you mind sharing? Anybody at all, if you've actually sold something before? Can you? If you may, we would like to learn from you. Is anybody ready to volunteer?
I have, sir. Good evening, sir.
All right. Good evening. Hi, Eniola.
Hi, sir.
All right. Go ahead.
Okay, I've sold books before. I've sold books and I'm still selling.
Oh, interesting. So who do you sell to?
I sell to church members for now
Yeah.
till I get a bookstore, which I'm planning to.
Okay. What kind of books are there?
I sell motivational, Christian, children books, business books. Yes.
Wow. Interesting. And why did you go into the business?
Well, because I'm the type of person that can talk easily with people and communicate in such a way that they will buy the books. And my mom got busy with other things. It was my mom's business initially, but she went into a different thing. So she just kind of handed it over to me. And since then, I've been selling. Yes.
Wow. Wow. That's interesting. I love that. And your life, you don't mind, I'm going to ask the final question. I'm sorry. I hope my questions are not too hard.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. So why do you think they buy your books?
I think because it's original.
Okay.
Yes, because it's original and they want to read them.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Oh, very, very fantastic. Thank you, Eniola, for sharing. And thank you so much for taking the courage to share. I appreciate it. And I think everybody gained from it. Is there any other person that would like to share? Yeah, thanks. Any other person? All right. No problem. Thank you, Eniola. And thank you, Sammy Lore, I believe. Yeah, thank you both for sharing. And I will use that. And if you guys remembered when I was talking about ideas in week 1, and that's why you see that all of the things we are learning, it's not abstract. There are things that some people are already doing and you learn from them. Remember that one of the things I said is that one of the ways you get ideas are from things around you. So for Eniola, it was what her mom was doing and she started following to do. And the second thing is that she said she can talk easily to people. So I said you can use your strengths, your skills, those things that seem so easy to you. For some other people, it's not that easy. So you can leverage on that to get ideas. You can leverage on that to learn, to sell. Thank you, Auntie Fidelia. She mentioned that, wow, that she was a sales girl in her aunt shop from age 11 to 17, and today she can sell water to a well. Wow, she's a don. I want to be like her. Even if me myself, I'm still learning. So you see, the experience you have and the opportunity, and let me just quickly drop this for you guys. Every opportunity you have to learn, please go after it. Your holidays, you've been on lockdown now, or some of you are getting back to school. Life is going to resume into physical interaction. When you get holidays, never ever again stay at home just doing nothing during your holidays. If you want to, one of the best ways to learn is to volunteer. So even if your parents don't have a shop, they don't have a business, volunteer to go to one of your aunt's place that has a shop. If you have to resume there, even if it's just 2 hours every day,
You learn from experience. You learn by seeing what other people are doing. And from there, you start gaining skills. There are skills I myself I learned by following my dad to his workplace. He used to be an estate surveyor. So those are guys that manage buildings, real estate. And I started learning as a teenager. And today, I'm still using those skills and knowledge. Today, when I'm at work and they are talking about real estate, I'm just laughing at them because the things that seem so much a big deal that they are saying they will call a professor for, I'm just looking at them that, what is this big deal? Because I learned it from my dad's business a long time ago. So those opportunities around you, make use of them. And one of the very critical skills you have to learn is selling. It's very critical that you learn this skill. And why is it critical? The reason, and I'll bring it up very soon. But one of the two big reasons, one of them is that no matter how good it is what you've designed, if people don't know about it and you can't convince them of why it is good, then nobody buys it. Or the only people that will buy it is you and your family. And that will not make you money. I'm sure we all want to succeed, either as professionals or as entrepreneurs. So you have a business. I know somebody that is learning, is this hairstyling, hairdressing, for example. You are very, very, very good in it. And you don't know how to relate with customers. You don't know how to make customers come back to you. You're just, well, I'm so good. There's nobody like me on earth. You can't just talk to me anyhow. Your customers will start leaving you. Even though you are that good, they won't come to you. And that means you're not selling your skills as a business person or as a professional. So it might be a professional, you're an engineer, you want to be a doctor, you want to be a YouTuber, but if you don't know how to sell properly, you will not get customers that will come to you, or customers might come to you and leave you. So selling is a very important skill for an entrepreneur that makes all of your ideas finally achieve success. So remember what I said, you've created the value, but how do you then now convert the value into cash, which is for use of our own definition, let's say tradable value, is by connecting. What connects the dots is selling. That's what connects the dots in what you do. And why is this important? Is because, look, I use the example of the person that, for example, is learning to do hairdressing. Somebody else. I think I need to. Yeah. All right. So, thanks. Okay. So someone else, you're learning to, let's think about it, to be a YouTuber or learning to provide online services. Why do you need to learn how to sell? And I answered that question on this slide. You're not the only one that knows how to do it, or like the hairdressing. There are several people that know how to do what you're trying to do. There are a lot of people that can do this thing. So in my line of work, we like using big grammar. We say that they are becoming commoditized. They're becoming commodity. It's like a pen. Apart from the design around the body, look, the print, what comes out, the ink is the same ink, it's the same color, or at least blue is blue, green is green, red is red. But what will make you buy this separately from this, for example, is the way it is packaged and communicated to you, and that is selling. So products and services are becoming the same. So for example, remember when I started in the beginning, part of what we were saying about ideas and business, that do business when you look at what your competition is doing, what are you going to do differently from them? So sometimes you might not be able to do something different. You are learning to do hairdressing, or you're learning to sew, or you're learning to help people create websites. Sometimes you can't do it better than other people. But what can differentiate you? Remember, I said you must always have something to differentiate. One of the things that can differentiate you is by creating a sales experience. So that experience they have when they interact with you, when they engage with your company, that experience they have when you're trying to offer them your service, that might be the unique difference that makes you successful as an entrepreneur. And I've even told you that even if you have the best products, you must learn to let them experience it in the sales engagement. And that makes a difference for you. That is very, very critical to success. So that is why for you as an entrepreneur, let's think about it. Sales is all part of what you do. Every time you're trying to get somebody to get into your position, let me word it differently. Every time you're trying to make a third party, that's a different person, it can be your brother, your mom, your dad, to do something for you. For example, you want to go to the prom and you're trying to convince them that, mom, but everybody is going. Don't worry, I'll be home by 9 p.m. I'll do what you want me to do. I'll make sure I do my studies. And your mom will say, okay, maybe I'll consider it. You are selling an idea. Because you want the benefits, you're selling an idea. And look, that is always part of our lifestyle. And for your business, it is very critical. From the very first position of you having the business idea, you want to use your dad's phone or his Wi-Fi to do something, that asking and receiving is sales. You want to use his laptop is sales. You want to tell him that, please, I just need your driver to help me drop something. You're selling. You want somebody to buy a commodity from you. You want them to look at you to do their website instead of your neighbors. You're selling. Somebody else mentioned that, for example, my neighbors, they want to do laundry. I know they are very busy. One of the ideas I have is by helping them do their laundry and they will pay me for it. One of the questions I think I remember I asked the person is, how are they doing it currently? Why should they choose you instead of a professional launderer or a professional dry cleaner? Part of answering that question is the sales experience. And I will explain it in a moment. So the sales experience is not just that process of saying, I'm doing laundry service for £10 per shirt or £5 per shirt, and you will get it tomorrow, iron clean. That is part of the experience, but that is not the entire experience. The entire experience starts right from the basis of the product that you are selling, that you are creating. And I'll get to that when I start talking about the principles of sales. I'll get to that in a moment when I talk about the principle of sales. But one critical thing where we need to land is this. Selling is any transaction in which money is exchanged for a good or service. I like another good example that somebody said. He said it's a process where a buyer sees value. Remember, this word value has come again. That's why I explained what we discussed last week about the creation of value. That cash is not so much of your problem as much as value. And value is from the eyes of the person buying it. The same way, they used Shakespeare adage that beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. I guess people that have done literature will have heard about that adage. Value is not in the way I see it, is in the way each of us sees it. So you might look at this biro, for example, and say, what's the big deal in the biro? It doesn't look any special. I can't pay more than 20 naira for it. Or how much is that in pounds? Or 2 pennies or 2 cents or whatever. Someone else might look at it and say, no, what are you talking about? This biro was manufactured 100 years ago. I will pay $1 million for it. That is what he can see in value. So the critical thing and why you succeed as a business person is creating a product that enough people see value in to pay the right price for it. So that's why you see that selling doesn't actually start by when you are offering the product to the customers. It actually starts even before you even go to that point. That is why we can start looking at the principles now. It starts with focusing on your customers. I remember in week 1, I mentioned this as well, that your business idea, a good business idea might not be a good business. Why? And one of the reasons I mentioned is this. What you see as being a good service to you, this is you. This is you. These are your customers. What you see as a good service, this guy might not see it. That's one point. So in reality, there are different scenarios. You see it as good. He doesn't see it as good. Will a sale happen? Not likely, because he cannot see it. Right. Now, you might not see it as good. He can see it as good. So for example, I am offering this biro at half a pound, or how much is that? And or 15 naira. But this guy is seeing it as an antique, that this thing is worth millions of dollars. How much will he offer it to me? He might come to me, if I don't know, I'll tell him 50 cents and he takes it off me. And he goes to the next hotel and he opens up a conference and he starts an auction and he sells it for $1 million. A sale has happened, but it's not in the right value. Hope you guys understand. So that is why understanding your customers is very critical. What do they want? And trust me, this is not, sometimes it's an easy answer. It's an easy question to answer. Sometimes it is not. Because sometimes the answer might not be that apparent, or your customers might not respond to it appropriately. What do I mean? So you go to somebody, and I think I'm using somebody a lot today, but maybe because I told you guys I want to start a barbering salon. Somebody comes to you and say, look, I want my hair to be like I want it to be like Drake, and I want it to be like I'm trying to look for names that you guys know, Obama, and I want it to be like another Trump all together. You're looking at the guy and, what do you mean? I'm trying to figure out to combine all of that. But the reality is that what might make the difference for you is that you know all those 3 guys, plus you know several other guys that in reality, as he's mentioning it, you might be able to see the picture in another person. And you bring it up and say, is this what you mean? Or you're even actually now trying to ask him deeper questions that, what do you really want to achieve? Where are you going? Are you going for an interview? Is it prom night? Is it first day in school? Are you trying to impress your teacher or your parents or a girl? Why do you want to make your hair like that? So by the time he starts talking to you, what you now realize is, oh, I get what you want. Don't worry, let's look at it that way. Let me show you something else. Think about these different options. And you now show him 3 different pictures that, do you not see that they meet what you want? And he now say, yes, that's exactly what I want. What you've done is that you've actually helped the person to answer a question that or give him an answer he could not verbalize. And this always happens to people that do hairdressing quite a number of times. So what helps you to sell? One of the critical principles in selling is knowing your customers. You must know your customers. Make it about them. Um, Remember the example I shared. You are here, your customers are here. What do they really want? It's not really about you. Your success in business is not so much about you as it is dependent on your customers. And you're always selling. You're always trying to get people to buy what you are offering. Whether it is your your employees, the people that help you, the people that are buying from you, even the people that are giving you cash for capital, you're always trying to sell something to them. And it's not so much what you want, remember what I said, as what they want. So knowing what they want, and that takes us back to research, research, continually to seek information, know your customers. This might seem very funny, but people make that mistake of not knowing. So I've said know your customers. The final point I will land is defining who your ideal customer is. So who is your ideal customer? Remember when we were saying you are doing market assessment, I was saying you, for example, you're doing a t-shirt. Are you selling it to teenagers or to their parents or to their younger ones, the ones in the primary school? Who are you actually selling to? And in what category? Because they have different categories. You have to define them because that will help you to start responding to them. I saw some comments and let me just have a quick look at them so that we can respond to that. All right, so those were not critical comments here. So I've talked about those points. There are a couple of other points. Let me try to bring them up. So you have to know your customers for you to be able to properly communicate to them. And when you're communicating, one of the things you need to do is making it about them. And this is a bit difficult because naturally, as people, we would like to talk about ourselves and you want to focus on the product, but it's trying to focus on them and not on yourself. That is what makes it a very critical thing for you to be able to do in terms of how you get their response. One of the things that helps you is when you continue to know your customers, the people that you want to buy your products, what you get to understand, and maybe for some people it comes natural, for others it doesn't. You start to see that you can categorize your customers. So you start to bucket them into different categories. And with that, one of the things you start doing is that you have like questions you can use to ask them. So the kind of questions you ask are not I've told you, you are asking them, what do you really want? But you're not asking it that way. Remember the way I explained the hairdressing. You're trying to get, okay, where are you going? Why do you want to look that way? Is there something you're trying to achieve? The question I'm trying to ask is, what do you really want? But I'm asking it in a pleasant and in a non-threatening way. It's like gisting. For example, you're selling there's someone else that said she wants to learn what is cosmetics. She wants to sell cosmetics. You're trying to sell them to your friends. And I'm sure a lot of them might not even be able to answer, what do you really want? But you're going to sell pictures. You're going to sell ideas to them. And with that, you're going to continue to unpack what they really want. Because trust me, and I'll get to that very shortly, is meeting what people really want that helps them to continue to come back to you. So I've talked about asking questions, but another part of that asking questions and learning on from the questions is listening. Now, listening does not come easily to a lot of people, and me inclusive. Trust me, listening is part of communication, but most people do not listen. Hearing is different from listening. Listen is actually an active word. What it means is that you're hearing what the person you're speaking with is saying. And please, when I'm saying speaking, it might not necessarily be sometimes what's a physical conversation between two people. It might be what you're reading on the internet from the comment section. So, for example, you go on Beyonce's page and you go on her fandom page, the Queen Bee cohorts or Cardi B. If you're interested in fashion, for example, or Tiwa Savage, and you see she wore a particular dress, and people start commenting. If you're interested in fashion as an entrepreneur, don't go and comment. Read their comments, and from there start interpreting. Do people really like this dress? Are they really interested in looking this way? You know, the way people dress to the prom or they dress for the red carpet, for example, is not the way they dress every day. So if you make your business and you create a business around that, you must understand and remember what I said, you must get the business dynamics. For example, that when are those times you can sell to them? Is it only prom nights? And how many times do prom nights happen? I guess it's once a year. Maybe some schools do once a term. So you only be able to sell 3 times a year. So you must start getting the understanding. Do people want to really look this good just 3 times a year? Or they want to look good every day of a year? And if they do really want to look good every day in a year, is this the kind of dress they will buy to wear every day in a year? So you see, you're listening to the conversation, but you are interpreting it correctly. So if you have the opportunity to ask for that question so that you understand properly, that is what listening does. And so that is what selling is. It starts a lot on the side of the buyer because it's when you know what they want, then you gradually now respond to what they want by the product you design, by the service you offer, by what you do and how you communicate, right? And that is very critical. There are a couple of several other tips on selling, but because of time, I might not be able to talk about all of them. But some of the things you will need to learn, for example, is that there's a psychology in relating with people. Part of it, for example, is that one of the things people do, for example, and you experience this when you go to particular stores. I'm sure any of you guys, you go to store, when you meet a very good sales attendant, you're telling the person, try to think about this interaction. They do it sometimes when you follow your parents to shop. You meet a very good shop attendant, and your mom is saying, oh no, I'm looking for this thing, I can't find it. And the shop attendant is already offering options. A good shop attendant will not say, oh, sorry, we don't have this. Sorry, can you come back next week? That's an average shop attendant. A good shop attendant will give the person 3 options. We tell the person, yeah, you want this product, but I think this one can also work once you mix it with this. Or you can think about these other products. It might not have the same effect, but trust me, it will help you until next week. Or let me think about it. Just give me a moment and I'll get back to you. And it calls another shop to get it. So giving options, sometimes it forces the person to commit to you. Because you've given an option, and the reality is that the person might now be anchored into closing the sale with you. So those are some of the lessons you'll need to learn on psychologically in terms of how you communicate with people. Some of the other things about learning about the people is this. we are all different in the way we see different things. Some of us, like me, I'm very technical. When I see a product, I'm reading the manual, I'm looking at the product specifications, I'm trying to do something. Some other people are just interested in how does it affect them. So for example, I want to buy a phone. Because I'm a technical guy, I'm a techie person, I go online and I compare that phone with like 5 different phones. It will take me about 2 weeks before I make a decision because I'm comparing different configurations. Some other person, and those are analytical people. Some other people, they just look at the phone and look at it. Oh, who else has this kind of phone? I remember my friend Shadi, she has this phone. The camera looks good. And let me have a look at it. How much is it? I can afford it. It looks good in my hand. It's good as a status symbol. And they go ahead to buy it. Those people are interested in how the product makes them feel and makes them look, or how it affects them. Neither is good or bad. We are all different. And the way we interact with products and services are different. When you're selling, you have to quickly know, who am I talking to? So if you talk to me, for example, that I'm the analytical person, and you're talking to me the way it affects somebody that is expressive. Remember what I said? It's not like I don't like camera or I don't like it looking like a status symbol. But as an analytical person, I want to be sure I'm buying the best specifications for this price and at this time. So those facts and figures are important to me. If you are telling, I'm speaking to you, you're the one selling this phone to me, and you're telling me, oh, this phone will make you look good. Look at the number of people that have bought it. Just check out the camera. You're not yet telling me what I like to hear. You're not yet telling me, look, this phone, it has 30 megapixel camera, it's a flip camera. When you compare it, and it has Snapdragon processor, when you compare it to the Apple 10X, this is what 10X is, this is what this phone is. Compare it to a Huawei Z phone, this is what it is. You're now speaking my language. If you don't say that, I won't buy the phone from you because you've not spoken my language. And that is why it is critical knowing your customers. Because even in what I have explained to you, let me tell you guys another secret. For almost all of us, even I that I am analytical, for example, all of us make emotional decisions. I hope you guys understand what emotions is. So fear, anxiety, pride, all of those things, we all make emotional decisions, right? And selling and buying is an emotional decision. So you are trying to identify the emotion that is driving the person you are selling to. If you can touch the emotion, you've sold. And most times that is what gives you success. So it's a lot about the person you're selling to. Whether it's an idea, you are trying to get people to invest in your company, you have to be looking at what are they looking for. Remember, yes, you have a lot to say about yourself, about your business, about your idea, about your company, about how great your service is. But look for what they are looking for and try to address and respond and offer the service at that point. Remember, especially when you're dealing with people, even if it's online, you're dealing with human beings. So try to make it personal. Personalize the language, engage people. You might need to provide lots of detail, especially when you're dealing with this kind of analytical people. Give options, communicate the product's value, and sometimes in doing that emotional, and you learn these tricks as you go along, you create a sense of urgency so that they just want to close with you. So what are finally some of the personal things that are important to you? You can't or let me not say you can't, you must encourage and learn how to communicate in a suave manner. Look, remember I told you guys that it's emotional. We naturally respond to people that look suave or that look clean. I'm saying in the sense that they are not necessarily flamboyant. So let me give you an example, and which is usually the debates we usually have. Think about it. Forgive me, ladies, if you don't watch football, but it's just the big example I can think of right now. Ronaldo and Messi. Ronaldo plays good. Messi is extremely skillful. But one of the things that is great about Ronaldo is his personnel. He can be gruffy, but he makes himself to look this fine boy kind of personnel. So that makes him acceptable to some people. What am I trying to make you guys understand? And this is a secret you keep on learning. Part of selling is making, what will I say? The more people like you, the easier for you to sell. So you must increase your likability quotient. And what do I mean by that? Everybody wants a likable person. And so it's just being polite, being concerned about people, showing you are interested in them and not just the product you're selling. So for example, you're in a shop, somebody walks up to the shop to buy something. Hi, good afternoon, you're looking so great today. The person is not looking great. Oh, why are you looking? You're really looking tired. Should I offer you a cup of water? Hope you're okay, you're fine. You've not even talked about the product or what the person wants. Naturally, human beings respond to concern and care. So being interested in people, making them drawn to you, makes them listen better to what you have to offer. So you must learn good communication, learn to engage people properly, learn to be patient. You must develop your courage in engaging and talking with people. And that, you remember, as I said, for most skills is emotional. And once you can capture people emotionally, you are able to make them listen to you and consider your idea towards a sale. In all of these things, remember it's a strategy. So when you are doing it, don't forget to keep your eyes on the goal. Your goal is to sell. So all of this is with an endpoint. So let's take it as if it is a story. So that is just an intro. Remember, when you're reading most stories, there's always something at the beginning that draws you in. In communication, we call it the hook. So that's why you see that very good communicators, when they start with something that draws you in. Maybe an interesting question. Remember when I started, what did I do? I asked you guys, why is selling important? And I got all of you to start thinking. So that's sometimes what you do. You are trying to create a hook to draw people, but keep the eyes, you're going in a direction.
Ayo-Oluwa.
Yes.
There's a very interesting question in the chat box. If you can take that question.
Okay, thanks. Eniola, I'll get to you in a short while. I'll get to you. Let me just, I've seen that question. Very interesting, and I'll get to you shortly. Let me just finish this and I'll answer that. So thanks, Auntie Fidelia, for bringing my attention to that. So remember, you have a strategy. So always have a strategy. And as I was talking, I said story. Look, people love stories. People love stories. There's something emotional about it. That's why you love movies. You love Netflix. It's all storytelling. So as part of your sales strategy, you have to develop skills of storytelling. That's why you've seen I've used different examples. I've given you different examples as I've been talking, because it helps you to understand better. And it's the same way you tell stories. in telling stories, in selling, it helps people to connect and they get back to be able to close it. So in your strategy, you have to learn how to apply it. You don't have to follow it line by line. You have to learn to be flexible to apply those skills. So very interesting question by Eniola, and I would have been surprised if you guys did not ask it, because I've made you understand that selling is very important. But for some people, it comes more natural to them than to others. Very interesting one. How do you convince an introvert who wants to sell to get to talk to people very well? You know, I'll tell you a simple secret, and is again, I'm offering all of this for free because I can answer it, but again, I like giving tips and principles. Some things like this, if you Google, you see several responses on them because they are not unusual questions. If we are 7 billion people on earth, trust me, at least 3 billion out of the 7 billion are introverts. So a lot of them are facing the same challenge. And how do they overcome it? It's the same way for any skill you want to learn. You learn it as a skill. Remember what I said, even in getting ideas, for some people, it comes natural. What is a strength? When it's not a strength, you learn it as a skill. So it starts from, and when you're learning a skill, what do? You bite the little things gradually before you start going into the big things. A secret that you guys might not have realized is that as a teenager, or even till now, I'm an introvert. That's the truth. But what changed? I understood that communication and selling is an important part of my professional life. And what did I do? I started developing it. Let me give my own life example. Remember, I told you guys, and I'm applying this skill. You like stories. Human beings like stories. I actually started learning it, I'll say by God's favor, or God just helped me. And that's why sometimes being in church helps. I was in the boarding house as a teenager. I think I was in my SS1. And I joined the drama team. Now think about it, an introvert joining the drama team. When I joined, I felt, no, I'm an introvert. I don't want to go on stage. I don't want to talk. But one thing introverts are good is they are good in identifying what needs to be done, where the gaps are, studying people. I thought I'll just stay at the background and I'll be helping with the props. I'll be helping with arranging stuff. I'll be helping to direct so that everything can run in sequence. Do you know what happened to me? Because I've always been taller than my friends, they wanted to act a story about the family, and they now made me the daddy of the family, a pastor that started misbehaving and slapped his wife. That's my example. I was an introvert. I was very shy. I could not play the role. I was too shy to play the role. I went on stage, I did the talking, but when it became the acting, I could not. So what did I do? I'm telling you guys a life story that happened to me. I think I was 15. This was a life story. Was I 14? It was a life story. I couldn't act it because I was too shy. So they had to bring somebody else to do it. But what happened to me? I didn't go back to my shop because they had forced me on stage. That they had to now, because they just wanted me to be part of it. I think they didn't want me to feel too bad. They now gave me another part to act where I didn't need to really do anything, interact with anybody. I was just talking by myself. But what am I saying? There was an opportunity I took, and I started growing from there. So I took that little opportunity to act, and acting helped me a lot. For example, what's the next opportunity I took? There were people I could not walk up to before. I could not walk up to a crowd to talk. So what did I do? There were certain people I will never speak to before. But all I did was, okay, Ayo, every day you go to the meeting, go and meet a new person and just say hello. And I just remember what I told you guys. Even in your selling, have a script, have a strategy you use. And that's what I did. I went to meet a new person every day. I just said, hello, nice seeing you today. Hope you enjoyed the meeting. That's the script I used for everybody. Or I will change the language or I'll paraphrase for different people. But I gave it to me that you are shy and you need to overcome the shyness. And that's one of the things you need to do. You need to be honest with yourself. Learn and take the steps needed for you to start growing gradually. So I'll go and meet somebody new every day. And without knowing, I was actually doing what I told you guys that you need to do in selling. Everybody likes a likable person. So in going to meet everybody, you just say, hello, how are you doing? How was the meeting today? Hope you enjoyed it. This is what I thought. By the time they respond to me, a conversation starts. By the following week, I just say to the person, hi, I smile. And I started growing in how to engage people. So that's how I did. And I started growing in losing my shyness gradually. Have I completely lost it now? No, that's the reality. But I have improved and I've become better. So you keep on improving, learning those skills. One other thing I did was I watched the people I saw who do it better. There was one of my friends, he could talk to anybody. And I started watching, okay, how does he approach people? How does he do this? And I realized, so it's from him, for example, I learned how to pay compliments to people. And so it's learning what you don't have and gradually overcoming your fears. We all have our strengths and weakness, but one of the strengths and gifts God has given us is that grace to be able to overcome what might seem like a limitation. And I
Hi,
trust
Uncle Ayo.
myself.
Can I comment?
Yes, please do.
Okay, so let me turn on my video. Oh, so you can put a face to Fidelia.
Finally.
Okay, finally. All right, so that question is interesting. I'm single, I live alone, okay? During the lockdown, that 5 weeks, I did not miss anything. Like, life was good. That is a characteristic of an introvert. An introvert does not miss not meeting people. But you know, if I tell people I'm an introvert, they don't believe it. Now, where did it start from? How? So 3 things I would say for those of you who are asking that question. And it's good you're asking that question now because you have to start breaking it from while you are young. I was forced to do things I did not like to do. I said I sold in my aunt's shop from age 11 to like age 17 when I left her house, you know, to move back to live somewhere else. So by virtue of that, I began to have to talk to people and to sell. But then even when I got into the university, there was no break I had that I did not look for something to do. I worked in 2 industries. How did I get into 2 industries? I just go there and say, my name is Fidelia Ibe. I'm a student of so and so school. I want to work for you, not for money, you know. I worked in 2 industries. I worked in like 3 community pharmacies. I'm a pharmacist, by the way. Such that by the time I was leaving school, I knew things I did not like to do, even though I didn't know what I liked to do. Now, why am I bringing this up? The importance of understudying people. The importance of volunteering, the importance of, you want to be an entrepreneur. Can you observe other entrepreneurs who are successful, who are failing, and what they are doing and what's making a difference? While you're doing this, you are also learning. So what I'm bringing out is the place of experience while you are developing. That is 1. Number 2, you can learn it, like Uncle Ayo said. See, I work in a pharmaceutical firm, it's multinational. I was in the field for 6 years. If you see me in the field, you think that they are paying me all the money in the world. I'm all over the place. I'm selling information, and I was making sales for my company. An introvert. Sincerely, it's an irony. Until I left, so even though I had left the field, I still have to communicate. I still have to sell myself. I still have to make the company spend money. So I have to communicate and communicate. So Sales is also a skill, or communication is also a skill that you can learn. We have what we call selling skills that we use in my company and a lot of companies that will tell you how you go about selling things to people. So you can learn it and you can be very good at it. And then the final one is practice. Till today, if you tell me to do anything, I will think through it. I will practice what I will say. So if you want to sell and you want to get good at it, can you write down the things you want to say and look at your mirror and talk to yourself? Then go outside and practice. So we practice. Before you know it, you can talk to any and anybody. So 3 things: experience, learning, and practice. That's it.
Thank you. That was brilliant. Thank you, Aunt Fidelia. I think that answered it critically, succinctly for everyone. So, guys, selling is an important skill. It's ultimately you want to succeed. Let me leave with the final point, an example. All of you guys, and if you don't know, go and read the story of Bill Gates. Yes, I know it looks like a grandpa or a dinosaur now, but it's a very interesting story because I think it's one of the, yes, you had a lot of successes in the IT space, but Bill Gates is actually like the grandfather, or let me say the father, they are grandfathers of most of what you see in fintech or IT businesses today. Because in the past, what used to happen is that technical people, IT people, they used to focus a lot on being good programmers, being good technical people. But it's Bill Gates that brought that difference in the sense of adding business skills to technical intelligence. And that's what created Microsoft. Part of that was understanding what the customers wanted even before they needed it and how to communicate it to them. So that's very critical to you guys. Read the stories of Apple, for example. I'm sure all of you guys know that Steve Jobs was an introvert. He was a technical person. He couldn't even talk very well to people. But he sold Apple and he sold iPhones. So you learn and you can overcome whatever might seem like a weakness. And this is very critical in succeeding as an entrepreneur. When you add this to all of the things that we've discussed, this will make you a success. So I said focusing on the customers is critical, learning the psychological skill, the tips, having a strategy, a game plan, that is important. Information is very critical, and focusing on people. You must be a people's person. People annoy us. People do unpleasant things, but you cannot let that sit with you as somebody that wants to succeed as an entrepreneur. You must be able to let it roll off you, no matter what people do, and do it with a smile. And that is how you succeed as an entrepreneur. I think this brings us to the end. Unless you have any other questions, it's been an interesting 4 weeks in sharing these little skills and principles with you guys. I've also enjoyed the class and I enjoyed you guys sharing. One of the things that is happening, I said I'll talk about it afterwards, is that there's a business club that we've started for teenagers, young people that want to learn all these skills. I'm passionate about it because I have some strengths there. I told you guys I've been learning about it since I was a teenager. I work in a bank that deals with these kind of things, investing in businesses, raising capital for people. And I've done it for up to 12 years. And I think I've learned a bit. And there's this business club we have, algorithm.afr, which is just about teaching people about these things. And even after Navigate, for those that might be interested, we will still be continuing this conversation. Just
teaching good business judgment, how to do it right, how to customize it, regardless of wherever you might be in the world, is still relevant. Though I've tagged it like an African idea because and that makes it even better because I'm forced to break it down to very simple skills that might be helpful to you people. So what we did in Navigate is the beginner part of the entrepreneurship course. There's also the growth part that goes deeper into a number of the things we couldn't discuss, your vision, your mission, how you do strategy, how you do operation strategy, doing a proper business plan, a budget, how to employ people and work with the right set of people, your vendors, doing an IT strategy. So all of those are still things we will talk about in the growth part of the course for those that are interested. We have part of what we'll be doing every other week is interview with youngish entrepreneurs. So people like me that are running business and younger, even teenagers that are running their own businesses that have actually started and running it. So there are these guys that started a business. I know them because they went to my uni. I went to Covenant University. They started this IT business. I'm trying to remember now, but it's a savings product where you just put money every month and after a year. So it's like your piggy bank. Yeah, the name is piggy bank or piggy money now. So like the traditional piggy bank, they made it an IT product and they started that almost immediately after they left their uni. And today is a very big business. Trust me, it's very massive. It's actually competing with banks in Nigeria. So guys like that, I'll bring them up for interview. And you guys can ask them questions. Questions like, how did you start? What challenges do you face? How do I grow my business? What should I learn now? So all those kind of things, we'll be bringing those kind of people every other week. If you're interested, you started and you want people to help you, mentor you, and teach you how to make it work better, we also be providing that mentorship. So I have friends that are finance professionals, marketers, business strategists that work with big firms like KPMG, PwC that I can use and we can leverage on them to build businesses better. And of course, we'll focus now a lot more on activities, games, Kahoots. There's also an online business game strategy that we can engage with. So for those that are interested, I will post the link so that you can register. For people that attended Navigate, I'm doing it for free till December, but from next year, it will be on subscription. So, and I've already talked about you guys, you already know me. So thank you for attending Teenpreneur class in Navigate. I'm already emotional. I'm missing you guys already. I trust you guys learned. I enjoyed the time together and it's been fun. And I trust it was interesting for you as well. So I will ask if anybody asks any question. If anyone asks any question or comments, thank you all for joining the class. And if you guys don't mind, please, okay, so there's a form feedback form. Please fill the feedback form on the chat room. And I would like to see everybody's face, if you don't mind. For 10 seconds, can you turn on your camera? Let's see each other's face so that we know we are talking with you, not talking with robots. If you don't mind, let's see your face as we end our class. How many people can we see? Yeah.
Goodbye. Bye-bye.
Who else? Who is Techno? Who is Osato? Ejiro? Who is that? Let's see your face. Thank you all for joining. It's been a wonderful time. Trust you enjoyed it. If you have any other question, you can post them in the chats, our WhatsApp chat room. We'll provide further instructions on how we'll do afterwards. But it's been an interesting session with all of you, and hope you all learned. So thank you all. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Bye bye, sir.
Bye.
Bye bye. It was so interesting today and interactive. Bye bye.
Bye. All right. Remember to respond to the feedback form. Thank you. Thank you, Uncle Okwe and Auntie Fidelia. Thank you for your support as well, for the questions. All right.
Thank you, Lokulayo. Thank you.
So remember to join the closings, the grand finale tomorrow. Remember to join the grand finale tomorrow, 4 o'clock. We'll have the grand finale on the Elevation YouTube page. Okay, have a good afternoon, evening. Bye.